Hey friends, this is Karen and
Andy.
we're Blue Rooster Farm, and today we are outside in this hot heat and we're going to give you a garden tour. Today is June 29th and we are going to be harvesting our first corn. We've been eating on it, but it's ready to pick so that we can freeze it. And we're also going to harvest some onions. And we got some onions that are ready to come out of the ground, but we're going to give you a tour first and then we'll move on from there. All right, so I'm going to flip you around and show you what we got going. Very hot out here today, and we've been hoping for more rain. We were hoping for rain last night, but we just didn't get it. But we're doing okay. We could use rain though. So we can look right here real quickly at the top. This is pretty much finished up, but I do still have my cabbage that I need to harvest. I am just putting it off until I have the time to do something with them. This is our horseradish, doing really, really good. And of course our herbs, our dill and everything is going to seed. I've done a lot of herb collecting and I've got tons of it drying in the house right now, so I'll be showing and sharing that with you soon. So let me first turn around over here to the potatoes, and they are just starting to dry down. They've done really well. Andy, you took care of the let's see, was it a potato beetle that was on it?
Yeah, just kept picking them off or knocking them off, and seemed that the potatoes just kind of outgrew the point where they were going to cause many problems.
So they're looking really good. We hope that the potatoes inside are looking as good as the plants.
Yeah, we'll have to dig some here pretty soon.
Yeah.
See what we have.
Yeah, we'll bring you along when we do that. But the plants look good. Hopefully the potatoes underneath are good too. So here is our first corn that we had. It was a 60-day corn?
Yeah, 62-day, I think.
62-day, okay.
And it was ready, every bit of that.
Yeah, we started eating on it this week. We probably should have started eating on it the week before.
Excuse me. It has smaller ears, so it was kind of hard to tell that it was ready, but we should have started a few days earlier.
But this is the corn we're going to harvest today, and I'm going to be doing a video on how to freeze corn. And that's our way of preserving corn. We prefer that over canning. Got a lot of pollinators around, lots of bees. Strawberries are doing fine. It's, like I said, dry. We haven't watered yet, so we're doing good. And here are the onions. We've got several onions that are still growing, but several of the varieties have started tipping over. But they're looking really, really nice, really nice. And so we're going to do the ones that are bent over. And how are we going to do that?
We'll just probably just pick them and let them kind of, I don't know, cure or whatever outside on a table or something. Just harden off.
Sheltered, yeah. For about 2 weeks, and then once after 2 weeks, we'll bring them in and go over them. I'd like to string some of them and braid them, so if I do that, I'll bring you guys along. So got a few weeds in there, but he got them.
And if you do that braiding, you want to leave the green leaves on so you have something to braid with.
Yes, yes, definitely. And then here are the others down here. Again, different varieties grow differently, so we've got several different varieties. I don't know if we know the varieties, though, do we?
Yeah, I thought I put the little markers in there, but I couldn't find. Well, I see one there.
Yeah, okay.
I see one there, but I don't see one on that first row.
Okay, so we'll have
that first row's, those are really nice onions over there.
Yeah, those are. All of them look really good. That one, there's some really, I wonder if these right here in the middle are, since they're kind of flat, maybe the candy or the Vidalia.
Yeah.
Did you have Vidalia?
Yeah, we did do some of those.
Yeah,
so
I think that's
probably them.
middle row.
And this is something we'd like to do another planting of too, if we can get plants.
Yeah, we'd need more onions. We always like to have lots of onions. Here is what's left of our spinach. As you can see, it is all bolted, and I'll be pulling that out. But we got lots of spinach for just the number of plants we have. Our green beans, we did a nice crop of green beans. We shared them with our family. Plus, I just did a video of how to can green beans. So if you want to go find that video, it's already out. But there's lots of beans on there still. And so we need to do another picking.
Yeah, it's probably ready for another picking.
It's ready for...
The more rain you get, the more you'll get those coming on. So some people, if they're not experienced, I know people that have picked them one time and then pulled them out thinking they were done, but they'll keep putting beans on most of the summer if you get some moisture.
Yeah. And then that row right next to the beans here is my sweet potatoes, and right now it's so hot they're kind of wilty, but they'll perk back up once the sun goes down. That's just their way to retain moisture. And I have to be careful out here in the heat. My camera can overheat pretty easily, so hopefully that won't happen. So let's go over here where we have the rest of our garden. Start over here with my zinnias. And they started growing. Did you see them getting nibbled again, Andy?
Oh, yeah.
The rabbit came back. So they've been chewed on. But these over here did fine until the electric fence fell over on them and kind of started burning some of them. But the flowers themselves are doing really nice. We had a really big sunflower here, and it's already gone to seed. And then these sunflowers right here, so you can see the seeds in there.
They're not mature yet. Yeah, they're all up in there.
Then we've got other sunflowers right here that haven't bloomed. And you can see one of our culprits right here. Those are the Japanese beetles, and they're no fun. But I haven't seen as many as we've seen in the past, so hopefully they are moving on to some place else. I'm going to scoot right over this fence here. There we go. And do we have any cucumbers yet, Andy? Have you looked?
Yeah, I think there were some. I thought I saw some little ones on there.
So our cucumbers are right here. And this is a low spot, so it gets quite a bit of moisture. So I'm hoping that they will do pretty well here without water.
See anything even close to picking?
No, there's nothing close to picking, but they were putting on, they're blooming and putting on some little ones. There's a little one down there. I don't know if you can get it in the camera. Really hard for me to see my camera screen out here in the sun. Some down there. So we'll be having cucumbers pretty quickly. Once they start putting on, they go to town. Some watermelon here. And then I put in a row of zinnias and flowers, maybe a few sunflowers later, just because I had some seeds. I don't know if you can see that. I can't see what's on my screen right here. And then Andy's favorite over here, I planted him some okra. Right, Andy?
You did not plant me okra.
No. No, not for Andy. Andy's not an okra lover. I'm going to share that with my dad. He likes okra. And we got our second set of beans here, and I think there's little beans on, aren't there? I haven't checked lately, but I thought I saw lots of blooms earlier. Just blooms right now, which is fine because we're still getting green beans from the other spot.
And our beans here kind of go through a wilt stage when they're about half grown or so, and then they come out of it like these in our other patch did too. They wilted down and then they kind of fight through it and they're fine.
Some little disease or something, you think?
I don't know what that is.
Then we've got our peppers, and they're doing great. They love the hot weather. I've been getting peppers off the plants, and there's some nice sized bell peppers over here.
I would like to get the rest of those caged up also, just because they're pretty fragile. They'll break off if we get a thunderstorm or something like that that really blows through here.
And then these little bell peppers over here just are full of bell peppers. I have to look and see what this is. I've got a tag, I think. But they are just full of peppers. They're not going to be big peppers, but boy, do they produce. Lots of them. So I'll have to look for the tag. Looks like this is a hot pepper here. But they're looking really good. And then his tomato cages, which are really tall. I don't know, Andy, maybe you need to stand next to him to get a height.
Because I'm so tall?
Yeah.
The taller ones are shoulder high on me. I'm probably approaching 5 feet, something like that.
Now wait. The tomato cages are 5 feet?
No, the tomato plants.
Tomato plants. I was going to say. And we've got lots of tomatoes on there, all green, of course. No red ones yet. I thought I had a red one, but it had damage on it.
Oh, did I see it?
Yeah. But the plants look really good. They're loving the heat. Lots of green ones on them. So looks like it should be a decent tomato year. So I'm going to step back over the fence so we can go over here and look at the corn. And of course, this is our third planting of corn right here. And you were telling me something about this corn.
Oh yeah, it has a ton of suckering on it. I don't know why. Got to look that up and see if there's any particular reason. Like that's when you've got see, this is the main plant, and then it's got this one coming off the side and this one coming off the side, and even all these. Look, there's at least 2 more.
And normally you grab those off and pull them off.
Yeah, usually there were so many on this one I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Because it's just wasted energy for the plant. These aren't going to produce anything. They're just greenery. So it doesn't, probably takes from your crop, if anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know why that particular kind had so much of that. That's the first time we've grown that. So I don't know if that's.
What kind is it?
Typical. You know? That's the lion eye one.
Okay.
Super sweet or something like that.
And then this corn is looking really good.
Yeah, it's
really tall.
Audacious. It's got quite large.
Really tall.
Yeah, it's probably.
Nice ears on it.
Yeah, it's probably about 7 feet.
Yeah.
Tall, something like that.
Lots of ears, so we'll be getting a lot on that one.
Yeah, it won't be very long either.
No, really big ears. And then over here, Andy's favorite. And
no, I'm fine with zucchini. I just don't want to eat it.
You prefer zucchini over okra.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay, so I was starting to see the squash beetle. I think I see one right here. And I thought I'd start trying to fight them. But you know what? I'm not going to mess with them because we have more than enough. I picked about 10 or 12, and I'm drying a whole bunch right now. I made zucchini bread, zucchini cake. There's a whole bunch still in there that we're going to get. By the time the bugs get them, we will be zucchinied out. So I am not going to worry about. We had cucumber beetles too, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
and then vine borers will get it. And this was that little scrawny plant that didn't amount to anything, and still getting.
Yeah, we're getting lots of tons of them.
Zucchini off.
So we're good on zucchini, but we'll use these plants for deterrents. Make all the bad bugs come over here, maybe. Or we'll breed more bugs and they'll go to the garden.
Maybe we'll get rid of them once they're done. Haul them
Yeah,
off.
we will haul them off. But raspberries are done. Just a few handfuls here and there, but not worth picking. Just nibbling on when you come outside. And let's see, right over here we have a few blackberries that are turning red. These are just some tame blackberries that we've had for a long time. They kind of get frosted back in the spring, but they'll be good just for nibbling on. And we'll get some wild ones. We have a patch in the corner of a field that we'll try to pick on. Apparently there's quite a few out there according to my son, so when they start ripening up, we'll go out there. Um, Other than that, the garden's looking good, and we are going to harvest some corn and onions, and we'll bring you along for that. Thanks for watching. As you see here, we are harvesting this small patch of corn. And since this is a small patch, it's only going to give us about a laundry basket full of corn ears. And so this would be the perfect size for me to do a video of how we prepare and freeze our corn. And here the guys are shucking the corn, pulling off the silks, and putting the corn in a bowl. And you'll see here in a minute that I will then start using a knife and cutting off the bad parts and the tips and putting them in a separate bowl. So we will get all of this corn cleaned up and ready to process. Corn is really a messy thing to process, and we like to be able to do it outside if we can, because that way it keeps all those silks and corn husks off the floor and out of the way. So even though it's hot today, we're going to get this done outside. And we even have a stove that we put up, and we blanch the corn in the stove as well. So here you can see that I'm just trimming ends and looking for bad spots and trimming that off, getting the corn ready. And with the three of us, it works up quite quickly. And here we're looking at our stove setup, and these are gas burners, and they are, I should have looked up the power of those gas burners, but they are very high power, so they can boil water quite quickly. And I'm using my pressure cooker pots to do the blanching in. So here I have a big bowl of corn that we've got cleaned up and trimmed, and I'm just dropping it in that boiling water. And that boiling water, there's so much water in there that it's not even going to stop boiling with adding this corn. Now, if you were adding it to boiling water and the corn stopped boiling, you would need to wait until the water came back up to a boil to start your timing. These ears are small, so I'm going to give them about 5 minutes of boiling in the water. 5 to 8 is recommended. So I still have those in the other pot, but I'm adding more to this second pot here. And just dropping those in, and you can see that that water is boiling furiously in that pot, and it doesn't slow down even after the corn is added. It will continue boiling. So we are able to just continue the timer and get those ears blanched. It's important that you blanch your corn. It kills the enzymes that start causing it to taste bad and not keep very well in the freezer. So it's important that you blanch it. Now, once you blanch it, you need to cool it off quickly. And how I've done this for years is I have 2 big bowls of water. One is an enamel dishpan that's really large. The other is a galvanized, like a trough of some sort, but it's on a table here. And we fill it up with cold water, and we're not using any ice. But I drop the corn first in the enamel pan so that it can have its initial cool down, and all that heat is released into that water, and that water gets warm. And then I'm going to put it into the cold water, and that's a lot more water in that pan. And so that water stays cold, but it gets to the core of the corn cobs, so that chills it down completely. And so it'll just set in there for as long as it takes to get it cooled completely. Now the water in the enamel pan is warm. It's not hot, it's warm. I'm going to add just a little more cold water to it to take this next batch out, and that will get it cooled down enough to put it in the trough of cold water. So we'll be putting this next batch of corn into this. And the reason we're putting it in this cold water is to quickly stop the cooking. You don't want to overcook your corn. Now, a lot of times they say put it in an ice bath, but it's really hard when you're doing large quantities. This one's not a really large quantity, but when you're doing large quantities of vegetables, to have enough ice on hand. And I have found just having 2 water baths, the first one, cooling it down enough so that it doesn't heat the water in the second bath, has always worked for us. And it's so nice to be able to do this outside. We will get this done outside, and then I'll take it in to get it cut off the cobs. And again, just moving it around there to get that water circulated so that we have the corn in cooler spots, and just get it cooled down enough to be able to handle. And then once it's cooled down to a decent temperature where it won't be heating the water up too much, we move it over to the cold water. These outdoor propane stoves are really nice. And if I have the brand, I will put it in the notes. I am not sure. We purchased it, I believe, on Amazon, but I will, if I can find the brand of it and stuff, I will put it in the notes below. So instead of wasting that water, I'm just going to take that water and water some plants since it has been dry. And then we'll fill that water now up with cold water, because 2 batches will go through that water and then it gets too warm. And then this corn over here is getting cool. We'll be taking that out in a few minutes. And we're just using the hose to fill up the water. And we're going to turn this to high speed so that we can see this going through quickly now. So here we are, taking the corn out of the trough, putting it in a bowl. We had other corn that we had put in to blanch, and it's now being cooled off. Again, working together makes this job so much easier. Getting all that cooled down. We prefer our corn frozen. We don't really care for it jarred and canned. We have canned cream corn in the past to use in recipes and such, and that's fine, but we won't eat the cream corn unless it's in a recipe, so we really like ours frozen. And we're getting that last batch cooled down. Taking that water and watering more plants. And taking that out, and we're getting ready to go inside. The guys had some work to do with the sheep, so I'm going to finish this on my own. As you can see, I am using an electric knife here. This is actually a fillet knife for fish, My regular electric knife broke, and so I'm just using the fillet knife, and it makes it so easy. Here I'm going to try a regular knife and just show you, if you don't have a fillet knife or electric knife, just using a knife with a sharp blade, you can also do this. And as you see, I have a bump pan underneath that. That helps to hold the corn. Now you do want to make sure the hole in your bundt pan is smaller than your corn cob. I do have another bundt pan, and this corn, like I said, was smaller ears, so it wouldn't work as easily. I'd have to set the corn on the edge of the lip, but this one works fine. When we have a lot of corn and all of us are cutting, we have some with electric knives, some with regular knives, but the electric knife by far is my favorite. It makes it go so quickly and smoothly. And we just get all that corn, and it collects at the bottom of that bundt pan, making it so nice. Now once that bottom is filled, we need to start filling baggies. So what we do is we take a largemouth lid or a ring, and we buy these little freezer bags from the Mennonite store, and I believe this is a pint bag or a pint and a half. I'm not sure which size this is, but we just put that lid through the top like that, so that we now have an opening that's very easy to fill the bag with. We started doing this years ago when we were trying to get, I believe it was applesauce, into plastic bags, and we just came up with this method, and it's worked very, very well. So we fill that up with the amount that we'd like. And you'll notice we haven't added anything to this corn. There's no salt, no water, nothing. So if you want to add anything to your corn before you bag it, that's fine. We find that we like to add it after we thaw it out when we cook it. Now the main thing you need to do with freezing corn is to make sure you have all of the air out of the bag, because that air in the bag is what's going to cause freezer burn, and it will not allow your corn to last as long. So I squeeze those bags quite tightly, and then I twist those tips or the edges of the plastic bag, and then I fold it over for extra security, and then I use the twist tie. So we'll do another one here. Again, we'll use that ring, fold it over, and we will put the corn in it. And since this is such a small batch of corn, this isn't going to take me but maybe an hour at most to get all of this done and bagged and frozen and in the freezer. So we've got the air coming out. I squeeze it tightly, twist it, fold the top over, and then with a twist tie, I tightly put that twist tie close to the bottom where it's next to the corn, and you have a nice little pack of corn there to go in the freezer. You can freeze your corn in any size packs you want. We do a smaller pack since it's just my husband and I, but these will be perfect for us this winter, and they will taste so delicious. We hope you enjoyed watching our video today. If you liked it and learned something, please consider subscribing. We would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.